The day the sky bled fire, I didn't know if I was running toward death, or salvation. I remember the trembling metal beneath my boots, the screams of soldiers who had no chance, and the alien queen, Azrith, her body surrounded by a swirl of enemy blades, collapsing beneath the weight of 1,000 battle drones. She looked at me, not with anger, not with fear, but with a flicker of desperation I would never forget. And in that instant, I acted. I ran faster than my legs should have allowed, deflecting energy blasts with trembling hands, throwing myself between her and the swarm. I thought I was saving her life for a mission, a medal, maybe a paycheck. But as her gaze locked with mine, I realized some lives could not be repaid with honor alone. Some debts are deeper. Years passed. Worlds changed. The war ended, but I never left her memory. And then, out of the blackness of space, came the transmission that would shatter everything I thought I knew. Do you remember me, human? The voice was melodic, unearthly, yet familiar. A tingle ran down my spine. It was Azrith. Not a recorded message, not a hologram. She was speaking to me across the void. Years ago, you saved my life in battle. I froze. My apartment on New Earth felt suddenly small, suffocating. Outside the reinforced windows, the city's neon glared against the night. But I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. And when she spoke again, the words carried a weight I couldn't escape. I never forgot. The ship arrived silently in orbit, larger than any human station, dark metal streaked with alien glyphs that pulsed faintly like heartbeat. My instincts screamed danger. And yet, as I stepped aboard, I felt an undeniable pull. Something in Azrith's voice promised truth. And perhaps, salvation. The halls of her ship were alive. Walls shifted like liquid, responding to movement. Lights breathed, casting shadows that seemed almost sentient. I saw soldiers, human and alien, training together in perfect synchronization, yet all paused when I entered. Eyes, glowing faintly, studied me. And then she appeared. Azrith stood at the end of a corridor, taller than any human, her skin a cascade of silver scales, her eyes the color of distant nebulae. She looked exactly as I remembered, yet nothing like I remembered. There was a softness beneath her lethal grace, a subtle vulnerability masked by her absolute authority. You saved me, she said simply, taking a step forward. And in doing so, you altered the course of our species. I blinked. Altered it, how? Her gaze didn't waver. Because of you, I survived. And because I survived, I enacted choices I would never have made otherwise. Choices that spared millions, across galaxies. A chill ran down my spine. I had thought heroism was meaningless in a war that devoured everything. And yet here, in her eyes, I saw proof that a single act could ripple across civilizations. But then, the first shock arrived. The war you remember, it's not over. It only shifted. My mind recoiled. I remembered the surrender ceremonies, the peace accords, the triumphant news broadcasts. Shifted? I asked. What do you mean? Azrith's expression darkened. Our enemies were not entirely destroyed. Some escaped to the shadow regions of the Orion Belt. They've been building something that could erase both our civilizations. And they know about you. My stomach sank. Me? Why would they? They remember the human who interfered. Her words were calm, but every syllable dripped with menace. They will come for you. And if they succeed, not just I, but your world dies. A warning. And a new question. But before I could respond, the ship's alarms blared. A pulse of red lights flooded the corridor. The floor trembled beneath our feet. They're here, Azrith said. And with that, she leapt into motion, leaving me scrambling to keep up. The battle that followed was nothing I had ever seen. Weapons that bent gravity, energy shields that reflected not just light but thoughts, soldiers who moved faster than human reflex could track. And through it all, she fought, not as a queen, but as someone desperate to survive. And I realized then. I had never truly understood the price of her crown. We fought side by side, me human, her alien, an improbable pair. And yet, as our enemies overwhelmed us, a surge of memory hit me, the day I saved her. The fear, the desperation, the weight of a decision that could have ended in death. And now, standing in a corridor that seemed to stretch into eternity, I understood the truth: destiny doesn't forgive. It waits. It tests. And sometimes, it calls you back. But then, halfway through the chaos, she did something unexpected. Azrith hesitated, just for a heartbeat, her gaze locking with mine. And in that moment, she whispered, "I can't do this alone. Human, trust me." Trust her? Every instinct screamed no. Every memory of betrayal, every warning I had ever been given, screamed no. And yet, I nodded. Because I had saved her once. Because she had saved me, in ways I was only beginning to understand. Because, somehow, the universe had conspired to bring us together again. The mid-story re-hook hit like a supernova. She revealed her plan, to infiltrate the enemy's command ship, the heart of the Shadow Fleet. One wrong move, and both our worlds would be annihilated. And the only way to succeed, was to trust the human she once called savior. Me. The journey was brutal. Every step closer to their fortress felt like the weight of galaxies pressing down on my chest. I confronted aliens I couldn't even comprehend, technology that bent physics itself, and the creeping realization that perhaps the universe had no reason for mercy. And yet, through every impossible barrier, Azrith and I moved in sync, understanding each other without words, connected by a bond forged in blood and survival. But just as we reached the core, the enemy revealed their ultimate weapon, a weapon designed to exploit fear itself. It projected visions, personal nightmares, each one more convincing than reality. I saw my friends die again. I saw Earth burn. And then, horrifyingly, I saw Azrith fall in battle. Again. Just as she had all those years ago. The shock was unbearable. And in that moment, the question lingered: was this a trap? Or fate? Or something far darker? And then, she spoke, not to me, but to them. "Do you see now? Your hatred will not win. Because life, even yours, is sacred." Her voice rang across the core, a melody of defiance that bent reality itself. The weapon faltered, their projections crumbling like ash in the wind. We emerged victorious, but not without cost. The core had collapsed, forcing a desperate escape. I held her, the alien queen who once teetered on the edge of death because of me, and I realized something profound. I didn't just save her once. And she didn't just save countless lives. Together, we had rewritten a fragment of the cosmos. In the aftermath, as we drifted among the wreckage of the enemy fleet, Azrith turned to me. Her eyes, the color of distant galaxies, held a depth that words could never capture. "You trusted me," she said softly. "Even when everything screamed against it. And because of that, we survived." I smiled, though my heart still pounded from the chaos. "I never had a choice," I admitted. "I've been running toward you ever since that day in the fire." Her laughter was soft, musical, almost human. "And I have been waiting," she said. "Waiting to repay the debt you can never understand." But the final twist came then. Her body shimmered, the scales reflecting not light, but memory. "I have a choice now," she whispered. "One that could change everything between our species, forever." I stared, heart hammering. "What do you mean?" She took my hand, impossibly delicate, impossibly strong. "I can remain queen, or I can walk among humans. Choose peace. Choose to learn what it means to live beyond war. But if I do, I will need you. Not as a soldier, not as a savior, but as the one who saved me first." The words hung in the void, heavier than any weapon. I swallowed, feeling the weight of years, of battles, of destinies intertwined. And then I nodded. "Yes," I said, Whatever it takes. And as the stars stretched endlessly before us, I realized the truth. Some debts are repaid not in medals, not in gratitude, but in trust. In connection. In a leap of faith that bridges the impossible. She smiled then, a curve of silver and starlight that could ignite galaxies. Then let us begin, she said. And for the first time in my life, I understood that a single choice, one heartbeat, one decision, could echo across time, across species, across the universe itself. We were no longer just human and alien. We were the architects of tomorrow, bound by a debt neither of us could repay, and yet, in that boundless expanse, somehow, that was enough. The universe waited. And so did we.